my apartment. So it was actually get out there and meet people, so that's how we try and do it.
Okay. And how would a band go about being on your show?
Well, that's probably the easiest thing. All they have to do is email me and I send them a release. They just send that back to me with their CD and I play it.
Okay. What's your main age group with the different bands that come on your show?
I would say most of the bands are younger bands because a lot of artists feel, this is why we're out there too, a lot of artists feel that by the time they hit 27, they're done in the music industry. And there are really a lot of creative people in their 30s and their 40s that, you know, wind up joining wedding bands or cover bands just to make money because they can't make money with their own music. So most of the bands I get are in their early 20s, but there's still guys out there that think in their 30s and 40s they can still make it.
Okay. Now, as we talk about the music that's played on your show, we keep referencing it to bands. Now, solo artists, they're also allowed to
Oh,
be on
absolutely.
your show
We have
as
a
well,
lot
right?
of, we play all kinds of music. We play rock and roll, we play folk, I play instrumental, finger-picking guitar style players. So we play everything.
And what's your most famous type of music? Which is most
We
requested?
mostly play rock and pop, I would say, but you know, we try to, what I try to do is set up nights where we play certain types of music, like we have a blues jazz night and we have a male artist night and a female artist night. So we try to format the show a little bit.
Okay. And this whole Bumpskey Bash thing that's going on, how did that come about and what's the purpose for it?
Well, we originally started Bumpskey with a bash up in Mahwah, New Jersey that was 5 bands, and like I said in the beginning, we dealt a lot with cover bands. So it was 3 cover bands and 2 original bands. And every year we've done a Bumpskey Bash. Like one year we had, I think it was about 50 bands up in the living room. We started on a Friday, and bands just kept on coming all weekend, and we did that live. And another year I stayed up for 34 hours and played music for 34 hours.
Wow.
'Cause, one of the DJs in the area stayed on the air for 100 and something hours. So as a goof, we decided we'd do 34 hours, so we did that.
Okay. What prompted you to do it, the Bumpskey Bash?
Well,
One in Bayonne, at least.
the one in Bayonne, what we decided is every time a band comes to my house, you know, it's horrible because they're playing to me. So here we are in my apartment, and they're jamming, and then I go, you know, so obviously you're in the music business because you like applause and you like fans, and you know, it's an ego thing. So when the bands come, they kind of feel like, you know, this is ridiculous. So what we want to try and do in Bayonne is bring independent music to Bayonne and do something at George's on a monthly or weekly basis where we broadcast it live over the internet to the world. So this is kind of, we're trying it out and see how it works with the people of Bayonne.
Okay, so the thing that you're doing at George's, this is going to be broadcast then?
We're actually taping because George's doesn't have a high-speed line in yet.
Okay.
So before we go out and put the money out to put that line in, we want to make sure that the people of Bayonne are interested in something like this.
All right. We keep talking about all the bands that you support and this radio station that you're trying to help these bands with. But were you ever in the music industry yourself as, you know, an actual member of a band or?
I always, it's interesting, you know, when I was in school, I played the trumpet and, you know, I was involved in the marching band and stuff like that. And I always wanted to be a roadie for a band. But I thought that was like the coolest job in the world. But my parents told me, you know, you got to get a job and go into corporate America, which I did. But I always loved music. So it just, when I saw the internet, I knew that music and the internet were going to go hand in hand. So like I said, we work with a website called musictv.com, and they actually started in 1996 broadcasting over the internet. So we're a little ahead of the game, but I think everybody else is catching up finally.
Okay, when we did the interviews with your parents, Mom says that she wants you to be President of the United States.
Yeah, I think that's...
What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, with Arnold out there now, you know, I might have a chance, but
Never know.
yeah, it's still, you still have to be known. That's the problem with anything, you know, it's all about promotion. So if nobody knows who you are, you're never going to accomplish anything.
Okay.
So it's a matter of getting out there and people knowing who you are. You never know, right?
Yeah. Anything
Never
can happen.
know.
Someone's got to do the job, right?
That's right.
Might
I
as
don't
well
think
be
I'd
you.
want it, but
Not even Senator?
nah, I think I'm having too much fun now.
Okay. Jerry, we're just going to take a quick break right now. We'll be right back with more of Jerry Fury and Bumpskey.com.
Are your kids getting enough art? Where's the music? I don't hear any. Arts programs are being cut, making it hard for my kids and yours. Arts education is important, so it goes. Fight for it, because the less arts kids get, the more it shows. Rapping, painting, or creating music, arts education is key. How's that, Mom?
Remember what I told you, Chuck. Less bebop and more hip-hop.
Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
There is really only one boy. One girl. One tree. One forest. One deep, dancing ocean. One mountain calling. One handful of sand through our fingers. One endless sky overhead. And one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, Earthshare. One environment, one simple way to care for it.
No one looks back fondly on the years they spent in a parking garage. When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
And we're back with more of Jerry Fury and Bumpskey.com. So Jerry, you've recorded a lot of acts in your living room. What would you say is the most wild that you've had so far?
Well, that's a pretty tough question. It's probably a toss-up between a few, but I think the most memorable is one time we were recording in New York City and a band said they wanted to come up, and they were a heavy metal band. And I said to them, well, you know, you guys can come up, but the drummer has to bring stripped-down drum set. So the band shows up, and they start bringing up their equipment, and they bring up a couple of drums, and 20 minutes later, they're still bringing up drums. So I'm like, where are we going to put all this stuff? So we cleared out a bedroom, and the guy had like his full kit that he would use at Madison Square Garden, set up in my bedroom, and the cat hid in the closet, didn't come out for 3 days. So the cat was so afraid of the noise that the drum set was making that he didn't come out for 3 days. So I think that was his wildest band.
Have you ever had anybody kind of tear the place apart?
Well, we've had a band almost break up on the show. What happened was this whole band came up, and the lead singer didn't know that they were coming over to the house, and they were on the show, and we were having a good time. And one of the guys in the band said, oh, let's call the lead singer up. So I was like, okay, sure, let's call him. So as soon as we called him, he kind of like hung up the phone on us. And then we called him back, and he told the rest of the guys in the band that, you know, they shouldn't have came on the show without him. And they were a bunch of jerks, and I was a jerk, and he hung up the phone again. So, you know, all the guys in the band were like, well, we're going to get rid of him. And what happened was I said to them, listen, you know, the idea of the show isn't to have bands breaking up, it's to have bands stay together.
Yeah.
So what happened was those guys went on, and I never saw them again.
Oh, no. How many bands would you say have played since Bumpskey started?
In the living room, live in the living room?
Just in general.
Well, like I said, we play over 400 bands on the show.
Okay.
I would say actually that came up and played live in the living room, I'd say about 50. Some have been back more than once, which is amazing. We had bands from California. We had bands from Michigan, Illinois.
Play in the living room?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, see, we're right next to New York City, so when the bands come and play in New York City,
Okay.
you know, they usually have some downtime, so they're usually looking for somewhere to play.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I get a lot of requests, can I hook bands up with gigs? And I tell them, I'm not the music business, I'm music fun. And I have nothing to do with the music